Imagine a remote, frozen location in northern Greenland during the height of the Cold War, where the U.S. military secretly constructed an underground city complete with tunnels, living quarters, a hospital, theater, and even a nuclear reactor, all buried under hundreds of feet of ice, as part of a plan to station hundreds of nuclear missiles aimed at the Soviet Union. This was Project Iceworm, a classified U.S. Army initiative from 1959 to 1967 that was presented to Denmark and the public as a scientific research station called Camp Century. The project began in 1959 when the U.S. Army selected a site about 150 miles east of Thule Air Base in northwest Greenland. Engineers used special snow-cutting machines to excavate a network of 21 tunnels totaling over 3,000 feet in length, at depths reaching 100 feet below the surface. The base included barracks for up to 200 personnel, a mess hall, chapel, barber shop, laundry, recreation areas, and a portable nuclear reactor called PM2A to generate power and heat. The official cover story was Polar Research, including ice core drilling and climate studies, which allowed construction under agreements with Denmark, Greenland's administering country. The true military objective, declassified decades later, was to create a network of mobile nuclear missile launch sites under the ice sheet. The plan, known internally as Project Iceworm, envisioned hundreds of Minuteman-style missiles stored in ice trenches, movable by rail to avoid Soviet detection. The missiles would be positioned to strike targets in the Soviet Union if needed. The Army believed the ice's stability would protect the facilities, and the remote location would keep them hidden. Construction was completed in 1960, and Camp Century operated until 1966. During that time, personnel conducted experiments, drilled ice cores, and tested living conditions in extreme cold. However, problems emerged as the ice sheet began to move and compress the tunnels. By 1962, ceilings sagged, pipes burst, and structures deformed due to glacial flow. Engineers realized the ice was not as stable as assumed, and maintaining the base became increasingly difficult and expensive. The Army abandoned Camp Century in 1967, removing most equipment but leaving behind waste, including the nuclear reactor, which was dismantled and shipped back to the U.S. Fuel, sewage, and other materials sealed in the tunnels. The site was left under the ice, with the expectation that snow accumulation would bury it permanently. The base remained largely forgotten until the 1990s and 2000s, when climate change research brought attention to Camp Century again. Scientists drilling ice cores in Greenland discovered that the site, now covered by about 100 feet more ice, was beginning to resurface due to melting and ice movement. In 2016, studies published in Geophysical Research Letters revealed that rising temperatures could expose the abandoned waste, including radioactive and chemical contaminants, within decades to centuries as the ice sheet recedes. Denmark and Greenland requested information from the U.S. about what was left behind. The U.S. provided assessments indicating low immediate risk from the sealed waste, but acknowledged potential future environmental concerns if significant melt occurs. No major cleanup has been undertaken due to the site's inaccessibility and depth under ice. The project is now viewed as an example of Cold War military overreach and environmental legacy issues in the Arctic. Sources include declassified U.S. Army reports on Project Iceworm, the BBC documentary coverage, articles in Science magazine, the official Camp Century research history from the U.S. Army Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory, and Wikipedia's entry summarizing primary declassified documents. All are publicly available for verification. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe and follow to see the next story.